Welcome to Healing Prayers and Bible Miracles. Today, we step into the pages of Scripture to uncover the rise and fall of Israel's first King Saul, chosen by God, anointed by the prophet Samuel, yet ultimately consumed by fear, pride, and disobedience. What led to Saul's downfall? And what lessons can we learn from his story today? Join me as we explore the fascinating journey of King Saul. Imagine a man chosen from among the people, standing taller than anyone in the crowd, a figure of strength and promise. King Saul, Israel's first monarch, began his journey as a humble farmer from the tribe of Benjamin. He was the answer to the cries of a nation longing for a leader to unite them against their enemies. Saul was anointed by the prophet Samuel and filled with the Spirit of God, a man destined for greatness. But as the pressures of kingship mounted, this once humble leader grappled with the weight of power, his insecurities clashing with divine purpose. From his triumphs on the battlefield to his tragic downfalls in the palace, King Saul's story is one of courage, jealousy, and the complexities of human ambition when divine calling meets personal weakness. The tragic rise and fall of King Saul. In the dusty hills of ancient Israel, long before kings ruled the land, there was a cry for leadership. The people, weary of chaos, demanded a king to lead them, to unite them, to protect them from the menacing Philistines who loomed like shadows over their lives. They turned to the prophet Samuel, a man whose words carried the weight of God's voice. "Give us a king," they pleaded, their voices a blend of desperation and rebellion. Samuel, his heart heavy, turned to the Lord in prayer. And the Lord, though grieved by their rejection of his divine kingship, granted their request. "Tomorrow," Samuel said, "I will show you the man the Lord has chosen." Little did anyone suspect that this man would be Saul, the son of Kish, a tall and handsome young man from the small tribe of Benjamin, a man who had never sought greatness. The reluctant king. Saul was not searching for a throne when destiny came calling. He was searching for his father's lost donkeys, wandering through rugged hills and dry valleys. The task seemed hopeless until his servant suggested seeking the wisdom of Samuel, the seer. When Saul approached Samuel, he had no idea that his life was about to change forever. As Saul entered the town, Samuel's heart leapt. The Lord whispered to him, "This is the man who will lead my people." Samuel invited Saul to a feast, treating him with an honor that puzzled the young man. The next morning, Samuel took Saul aside, poured oil over his head, and declared, "The Lord has anointed you ruler over his inheritance." Saul, stunned and unprepared, could barely believe the weight of these words. "Who am I?" he stammered. "A Benjamite, from the least of the tribes of Israel." But God had chosen him, and soon all Israel would know the thrill of victory. When Saul was publicly proclaimed king, he was nowhere to be found. The people searched, and finally someone discovered him hiding among the baggage. Even as the crowd shouted, "Long live the king!" Saul's humility and fear of responsibility were evident. Yet when the Philistines attacked, Saul's true strength emerged. With the Spirit of God empowering him, Saul rallied the people. He united tribes that had long been divided and led them into battle. His victories were stunning, his leadership inspiring. The people loved him, and for a time it seemed as if Israel had found the king they longed for. Saul's kingdom grew strong, and his name was spoken with reverence. But beneath the surface, a storm was brewing. A fatal flaw, Saul's heart began to change. Success bred pride, and pride led to disobedience. The first crack in Saul's kingship appeared at Gilgal, where he faced the Philistines. Samuel had instructed Saul to wait 7 days for his arrival to offer a sacrifice. But as the enemy grew closer and the people's courage faltered, Saul's fear overwhelmed him. He took matters into his own hands and offered the sacrifice himself. The moment Samuel arrived, his face was grave. "What have you done?" he asked, his voice trembling with sorrow. Saul defended his actions, but Samuel's response cut deep. "You have not kept the command of the Lord. Your kingdom will not endure. The Lord has sought a man after his own heart." Saul's heart sank, but the warning did not humble him. Instead, it planted the seeds of paranoia and insecurity, the mission that sealed his fate. Saul's downfall reached its climax with a mission to destroy the Amalekites, an ancient enemy of Israel. God's command was clear: destroy everything, men, women, children, livestock. This was a holy judgment, not a war for plunder. But Saul, swayed by greed and the demands of his men, spared King Agag and the best of the livestock. When Samuel confronted him, Saul's excuses flowed freely. "I obeyed the Lord," he insisted. But Samuel's piercing words exposed the truth. To obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. Because you have rejected the word of the Lord, he has rejected you as king. In a moment of desperation, Saul grabbed Samuel's robe, tearing it. Samuel turned, his voice ringing with finality. "The Lord has torn the kingdom of Israel from you today and has given it to one better than you." Saul was devastated, but his remorse was shallow. He pleaded for Samuel to honor him before the elders, more concerned with his image than his heart. A king's torment, though Saul remained king, the Spirit of the Lord departed from him. A dark spirit tormented him, filling his days with paranoia and rage. His once noble character eroded as jealousy consumed him, especially when a young shepherd named David entered the picture. David, a mere boy, had slain the giant Goliath and become a hero in Israel. The people sang his praises. "Saul has slain his thousands, and David his tens of thousands." These words ignited a fire of jealousy in Saul's heart that would never be extinguished. Saul's obsession with David turned into a relentless pursuit. He hurled spears at him, plotted his death, and chased him through the wilderness. But David, chosen by God and protected by his hand, always escaped. The tragic end. Saul's life spiraled downward, marked by fear, betrayal, and isolation. His once strong connection to God was severed, and he sought guidance from a medium, a desperate act forbidden by God. Through her, Saul heard the ominous words of Samuel's spirit. "Tomorrow you and your sons will be with me. The Lord will give Israel into the hands of the Philistines." The next day, Saul faced his final battle. On the slopes of Mount Gilboa, the Philistines overwhelmed Israel. Saul's sons, including the beloved Jonathan, were killed. Wounded and surrounded, Saul chose death over capture. He fell on his own sword, ending his tormented reign. The legacy of a King Saul story is one of great promise and profound tragedy. He was chosen by God, anointed as Israel's first king, and given every opportunity to succeed. Yet his disobedience, pride, and inability to trust God led to his downfall. As we reflect on Saul's life, we are reminded of the importance of obedience, humility, and a heart surrendered to God. Saul's rise and fall stand as a powerful testament to the dangers of straying from God's path and the enduring hope found in seeking His will. His will.